Hello, my name is Jennifer Lopez and I will be summarizing the waves of feminism. Before I get into the presentation, I wanted to take the time to define what feminism is. Feminism is a movement for all women around the world, no matter what their race is, whether they are transgender or whether they are cisgender. It is a movement that advocates that women should have equal rights and opportunities as men. The first wave of feminism began around the 1830s and ended in the early 1900s. One of the biggest takeaways from this wave was women's suffrage movement. During this time, women were fighting for the right to vote. They held the Seneca Falls Convention in Seneca Falls, New York in 1848. It was the first women's right convention ever held in the United States. The convention brought attention to inequality between women and men. The convention was able to gather over 300 women and men. In the convention, they read the Declaration of Sentiments, which was drafted by Elizabeth Cady Stanton. The Declaration pointed out the inequalities between men and women in social and political standpoint. It also declared that all men and women were created equal. The Seneca Falls Convention was the fire starter to the demand for women's rights and suffrage. In 1910, they extended the right to vote to women in some western states, and in August 26, 1920, the 19th Amendment to the Constitution was ratified. The second wave began around 1960s to the 1980s following the Second World War. Women's involvement in the war and civil rights movement led to the beginning of the second wave. The second wave focused on the way women were unequal to men in society. The second wave succeeded and created job opportunities for women and increasing divorce rights. In addition, more women were running for political office and they were able to legalize abortion as well as a result of the Roe v. Wade decision. This wave, however, did not acknowledge non-white and lower-class women. The failures in the second wave resulted in the third wave of feminism. The third wave of feminism began around the 1990s and continued until the early 2000s. The women of the third wave worked to fight against the stereotypes that labeled women, and it was more inclusive to the women of color. There was an understanding of the barriers that held women back. This wave focused on empowering themselves as women by embracing derogatory terms and using them as a proud, defiant label. One big thing that is seen is the Riot Girl movement. In this movement, women used punk rock music as an outlet for their anger towards the patriarchy and as a way to send a message to the people. Negatives about the third wave is that it benefited the cisgender women, and it did not include the transgender women. In the fourth wave is relatively new, but it is sometimes believed to be a part of the third wave because of the similarities. The difference between the two is how public it is, especially now on social media. The fourth wave is very body positive and advocates for women to embrace their differences in their body and be proud of them. The wave also promotes awareness towards sexual assault and includes active movements like slut walks and hashtags such as the hashtag #MeToo movement. The hashtag #MeToo movement is used to bring awareness to the issues that women and feminists experience. I hope you have learned a lot. Thank you very much for watching my video. The end. Here are my sources.